All right, let me get my shilling quickly out of the way. Please give my other channels a chance. Please consider supporting this channel via channel memberships. I will put up some new content soon. And please consider supporting me any way you can. All right, let us get into it. So, it's a lot of things I could say about Anthony, but he is a very, very good commentator on all these different controversies with Aaron Smith-Levin, Rinder, the Aftermath Foundation, so on and so forth. And he did quite a few videos, but then just went cold turkey. And as he explained, it was getting a little too crazy. He just took a break from it. He's covered other topics. Very fascinating stuff. And I do like him as a subscriber. But even I was really surprised about some of the videos in the polling data, which we will get into. There was an extremely, and I mean extremely funny moment in one of the commentaries. I don't think it was intentional, but it was laugh out hilarious. But we won't get to that. Let's get to the more serious, somber news. So one of the things he did is on 2 community posts, and I will reveal the way I voted. But he basically gave 2 major polls on the recent controversies. One was about Rinder and whether you think he made up for his time in Scientology. And one was about Aaron and trust issues, and do you trust him anymore? I thought that was very, very interesting and slightly different polls, and we will get to the results. It's very, very interesting. Now, with Rinder, again, he's a little bit of a smaller channel than I am, but I still think very impressive. So, statistically, we can't say too much. It is valid, right? When you get to 100 or more votes, it does count, but it'd be nice if he gets more votes to get a more full picture. Okay, so with Rinder, he offered 3 choices. One, did he redeem himself? Did he not? Or third choice was not sure. I will be honest, I put the not sure category, but the vast majority, at least the last time I checked, over 70% said yes. He did enough in his later life to redeem what he did earlier. So that's very, very interesting. Only a very small minority said no, he didn't do enough. But the not sure was respectable, about 10% or more. So that is very, very interesting. So at least with his audience, the majority have sided with Rinder. I will say, just to be honest, I did like looking through his videos, but I did not look at some of them because I felt pretty sure, given that he took a pro-aftermath stance, and I will be honest, back then I was taking more of a pro-Aaron stance. I did not look at several videos because, I know where he's going to go with this, so I don't want to hear that. But I did try to give it another chance, and I'm glad I did. He revealed some amazing things about Aaron, the Aftermath, Rinder, and other topics. So he puts in a lot of work, so he definitely earns his subscribers. So now let me get to the Aaron poll, and that was even more interesting. They offered 4 choices. And yes, he does relate it to the Jenna controversy, so I'll be real quick. So Aaron claims we didn't know about him and Jenna, but I think it's pretty obvious he did publicly proclaim that they were a couple. And to be fair, a lot of people have hounded Aaron about being married while having these affairs. But Jenna also has a bit of a weird situation with her husband. And she's tried to explain it that. So legally, I don't know for sure if they're divorced. It could be on paper they're married because she wants her children to be okay with what she's doing. So want to be fair to both sides. So the choices there were 4. And it's, do you now not trust him? Right? Do you still trust him? Third category, you haven't made up your mind, or you don't trust him after the Aftermath controversy. So let me just briefly explain that Aaron was on the board of the Aftermath Foundation, which is dedicated to helping ex-Scientologists. It's there to try to get them out of Scientology into, quote, normal life, whatever we're going to call that. And he was pushed out in November. Wow, it's a while ago now, November 2023. That's when he went public. Apparently, he was pushed out a little time before that, but that's when the controversy became public, and it really split people, siding with Aaron, not siding with Aaron. And I think, again, Anthony showed pretty well that he said, I think we should go with the Aftermath on this one, and he provided a lot of evidence and arguments. And again, I did listen, but I don't know. It is the thing with Aaron. Aaron is very good at persuading people, even when he has a weak case. So I will admit the truth that I was still, on the pro Aaron side thinking, something doesn't add up here. But It seems like they were keeping things. They were keeping a few secrets, but it was actually try to not expose Aaron because it would have just been too embarrassing. I would assume it was really Heather. They were just worried about Heather and his children, but Aaron being Aaron, he was willing to go public because he didn't care about being embarrassed, and there we are. But I found that fascinating that the results were that, yeah, a lot of people don't like him. That got over 50%, so people don't trust him. The other two categories basically got nothing. So people who trust him, very small. It's like 5%. People who have not made up their minds, 4%. Interesting. But yeah, people who didn't trust him after the aftermath issue, that's the second highest in terms of the votes. So that's interesting. So yes, a lot of people definitely don't trust him after the Jenna controversy, but the aftermath issue did actually make him unpopular with a sizable amount. Again, it's hard to project these things when you study statistics seriously, but that's pretty fascinating. So, yeah, some pretty fascinating polling data. But now let's get to the joke, which I don't think he intended. Again, he's only done some short videos. He says he may do a longer video, but this is one of them dealing with Jenna, and it was funny. It was very funny. So he's just relaying the obvious, right? Going through the very basic data, and he accidentally called Jenna the nephew of David Miscavige. I was like, it was jarring. I was like, wait, what? Huh? But he said it. He said, the nephew of David Miscavige. And I'm like, she's not the nephew. What are you talking about? She's the niece of David Miscavige. I guess he just got the concepts mixed up in his head. That, right, niece, nephew, doesn't really matter. And there you go. So he mixed up the two terms. I just found it funny that he was clicking on Jenna's face when he was doing that. And yes, you could, I guess, say she has a more masculine face. So I guess maybe, I don't know. I don't know. In his brain, she's has more boyish looks than girlish looks. I don't know. Jenna looks fine. Jenna looks fine. But yeah, the Miscaviges obviously genetically will have um, a certain appearance. I will say, yeah, they obviously they all look like his father Ron does look a lot like David, and she does have a lot of his features. So yeah, it's very strange. I guess when you have them in your brain, they're gonna all start to look the same. But yeah, very fascinating results. I do hope he puts out a longer video. His commentaries were really good at the time, so I highly recommend looking at those. But I can't blame him for going cold turkey and stepping away because he was gaining a lot of support and subscribers, but I will be honest, it will get you enmeshed in a lot of controversies, and I can only speak from my experience that you will get attacked. There's no doubt about it. So I would forewarn people who want to jump into this corner of the internets that it sounds like easy money and no work. Like I'm just going to hate Tom Cruise, just going to make fun of Aaron, just make fun of Aaron and Tom Cruise and say, hey, let the dollars flow in. Yeah, it's really not that simple, and I will just say that a lot of the ex-Scientologists who have split and gone to war with one another, they do go after other people, even if they're not really connected. They don't like free opinions. They don't like independent thought. And Anthony, as far as I know, he's really not mentioned in these videos. He's not attacked. He has not been the subject of any fair gaming, but I have. So yeah, it is a sad thing that even if you do good commentaries, even if it's all factual and it's very well reasoned and argued, they don't care. They don't care. But good on Anthony. He put out some pretty good videos, and these polls are very fascinating. So I hope he returns to the subject. But yeah, I'd have to warn him and you. Yeah, if you do it for too long, you are gonna get swept into these controversies, whether you like it or not. Even if you have totally legitimate opinions, yeah, these a lot of these ex-Scientologists cannot stand any, and I do mean any critical thought. They just go bat crazy if they have any independent criticism. But good channel. I'm subscribed. I rarely endorse any channels, but I would endorse his. Even if you don't like Scientology, he does cover up other topics, and he's always very, very intelligent, and I think very fair-minded. And there we are. Some interesting polling data. So at this point, yeah, Aaron has lost a lot, and I do mean a lot of people, even from fair-minded individuals. And there we are.